Recently, I've stumbled upon a question on a Chinese Q&A website, Zhihu. The question was about why uh, why is Chinese football team, particularly the male football team, so bad, and this is largely contrasted with the fact that other than football, generally China seems to be a sports powerhouse worldwide, particularly in Olympics. It has been consistently occupying the top three sports, occasionally the champion, and uh, some answers focused on the fact that uh, the Chinese government doesn't run very well, not enough of budget allocating to the football players, and also of course the culture is deranged. Uh, like Chinese parents wouldn't want their kids to play football, but those kind of answers are kind of banal, like platitudes. But one answer stood out to really surprise me. The answer is um, the fact that actually China is not a real sports powerhouse. It is an illusion. Why does China consistently appear to be top three sports in Olympics? The reason is China successfully exploited the loophole of the entire system, Olympic system, the sports system, and the loophole is such. I can't remember. Olympics has about 28 sports, I believe, and we all know not all sports are equal. Uh, Maybe it is not too scientific, but it seems to be quite axiomatic. Some sports, especially sports that have existed since the first Olympics, such as aquatics, athletics, those traditional sports with little rules, just merely competing for speed, those sports, right, seem to be more superior, occupying a more important position among the 28 sports. And then later on, you can rank the sports according to, I don't know what do you call it, maybe merits, maybe importance, maybe popularity, maybe how great the sports are. And I believe if you rank until the end, if you count maybe 20th onwards, the sports at the back are things like table tennis, badminton, uh, I don't know what else. Sports that are kind of peripheral, um, where you can see the participants are largely from only a few countries, and normally those sports are consistently being dominated by that few countries, and some countries don't even bother participating in those sports because they look so lame. And table tennis and badminton are uh, exactly the epitome of this kind of sports. It's just surrounding a few fringy Asian countries. And this is the part where China successfully exploited. China is so great in table tennis, is so great in badminton, maybe gymnastics, I don't really know. And as a result, all right, this is a typically very smart hacking. Actually, my entire life, I grew up witnessing this kind of hacking. When I was a student, I always it has never been lack of students who want to exploit the loophole. For example, you have an exam coming soon, right, about a subject, right? Then you try to spot, okay, we have 12 chapters in total about a textbook. In a textbook, you try to spot what is a minimal amount you should study so that you could afford an A or at least a minimal pass. Maybe it's 3 chapters, then you could ignore the rest. So the colloquially, this is known as using the least effort to attain the maximum reasonable result. And um, China did the same thing, because at the end of the day, a single gold medal in table tennis is equivalent to a single gold medal in athletics. However, in table tennis, you probably only face competition from 200 participants. In athletics, you probably face 2 million competitions in a 400-meter run, for example. And then when I say 2 million, of course, it includes qualifying rounds worldwide, every single country. And that is not an understatement. I believe athletics definitely have millions of participants. But however, given the disparity between the number of competition, like for example, athletic 2 million participants, table tennis maybe 200, that is like 20,000 times at 20 10,000 times more the competition. But however, at the end of the day, on the Olympic table medal table, one gold medal of table tennis is equivalent to one gold medal of athletics, because at the end of the table doesn't discriminate between types of gold medals. They just rank based on a pure number. And that got me into thinking, what if Olympics changes its system into slightly more nuanced? For example, table tennis, a gold medal would probably give you 3 points. However, a gold medal in 400-meter run would give you 10 points, for example. So you have a different weightage. And that sounds absurd, maybe outlandish, but I think it's a system worth pondering, worth imagining. And actually, I don't like sports. I'm not concerning about sports. I'm concerning about system design in general. The system of incentivizing people, the system of fairness, and I merely use sport as an example to illustrate this thing. But of course, this could be extrapolated to so many other different domains, in education system, in corporate world. Actually, the problem, this kind of smart hacking, this kind of wildly hacking by China sports team, it actually happens everywhere, even in the corporate life. It has been an eternal debate on whether a person should do maximum unless he or she is being deterred from doing so. That is situation A, versus situation B, whether a person should do the bare minimum unless being motivated, being incentivized. So you have two quite orthogonal situation. Yeah, the first situation is try your best unless 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 you are prevented from doing so. Situation B is don't do anything unless you are forced to do so. So you can juxtapose these two situations. This is the typical optimist, or maybe a really hardworking person versus a fatalist, a pessimist. Um, Again, it is not clear which one should people adopt in general. In fact, years ago when I was working in a company, a small medium sized enterprise, I asked my friend, because I was doing nothing. Basically, every single day I was in a cubicle reading books, doing nothing, and getting paid. And I asked my friend, because feeling a little bit guilty, I asked my friend, should I feel guilty? First of all, is it unethical to do the bare minimum? And then he pointed something quite profound and phenomenal, because he answered me saying that my question is actually a moot question, because every single employer, all right, pay you according to the value you have contributed. So for example, he pays you 3,500. If he would make sure, he or she would make sure that you have contribute that amount of value, 3,500 or even more, back to the company, because otherwise the company would go out of business. So whether what I was doing was unethical is an irrelevant question, because if I was doing too little, eventually the employer would figure out and would try to balance it back by forcing me or incentivizing me to do more. And if the employer doesn't do so, it seems to mean that actually what I'm doing is already sufficient to cover the cost to pay me. And that sounds very profound, but however, I don't believe that every single thing currently in the status quo in our world is perfectly balanced. Just now, I already pointed out to you one obvious defect in the world, in the system, in the Olympic system. And likewise, I believe this kind of defect exists everywhere in corporate place. For example, in a multinational company, it has, let's say, 1 million employees. I definitely believe that there are at least 1,000 of them doing too little, all right? Doing less than what they are paid. And I believe, again, more importantly, among the 1 million employees, there are at least 1,000 of them doing more than what they are getting paid. I don't believe equality. I don't believe absolute meritocracy is manifesting in our world every single second. But however, this kind of imbalance is often being obscured, because just now I told you, right, there are 1,000 slackers doing less than what they are paid, and then there are 1,000 more than, or maybe 100, since it's harder to work more than what you are paid for, or there are 100 people doing more than what they are getting paid. So you can see this kind of imbalance seems to be ironing out each other. The slackers, their lack of work would be compensated by the dedicated people, and that's the reason why this kind of imbalance rarely manifests itself in reality, although they really exist. And this also begs the question: is it possible to redesign corporate system, the economy, in the same way as what I've suggested just now, to add a lot of nuance? So just now I suggested to add nuance into the Olympics medal table, so that China could no longer hack it so apparently, the point system. And likewise, if you add nuance into corporate system, with more and more points, weightage added to people who work really hard, and less points to people who are slackers. Because I believe in corporate world right now, for example, let's say in a marketing team, in a certain project X, all right, there are 10 team members, for example. And then I definitely believe that, okay, at the end, let's say this project X is completed, is accomplished, and this project X brought an additional of $100,000 of revenue to the company. And then what? And then this $100 of extra revenue would be credited to all the 10 team members. However, of course, I never believe that the 10 team members contributed equally. There must be some disparity between talent, effort being provided, all those sort of things, because people are generally unequal, right? We have people being born taller, shorter, faster, slower, all these kind of things. Some people are more sensitive to numbers, all these sort of things, and I don't believe people are equal, and therefore it is unreasonable. It is absurd to believe that the additional $100,000 of revenue should be equally credited to the 10 people. If you equally credit the extra revenue to all the 10 people, it is akin to treating the gold medal in table tennis exactly equivalent to a gold medal in athletics, which is actually very preposterous. But however, I believe there is real difficulty in actually adding nuance, in differentiating, discriminating among the 10 members, because first of all, it might cause political conflict. Secondly, it is very hard to really have a clear accounting who contributed more. Okay, this is probably quite an abstract discussion. I will try to think about it more. I will continue someday. See you. Goodbye.